Hello everyone. Today we'll proceed further. So yesterday we saw till the topic prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. As I told you that we will be following now plasma membrane specially and the transport through plasma membrane. What are the mechanism of transport and how the transport is done. See, three types of mechanism is there. Passive transport, active transport and bulk transport. To pay a more emphasis on it, transport of materials across cell membrane. Cell membrane allow the movement of different materials across them differently. Following three mechanisms mainly are followed: passive transport, active transport, bulk transport. Today we will follow passive transport. See, what are the things to be noted here? Passive transport is slow. There is no requirement of any energy and it occurs down the concentration gradient. Does not use carrier proteins. Only small molecules, that is water, gases, ions, can be transported. Now let me once again tell you, passive means there is no requirement of energy. If there will be requirement of energy, then we'll call such a transport as active transport. So there is no requirement of energy first of all. It is slow. It is not requiring any carrier proteins. And one more thing, very important thing to remember, it moves along the concentration gradient. Along the concentration gradient means from a higher concentration region, that means where the materials are found more in amount, from a higher concentration region to the lower concentration region, that is where the materials are less in amount. That we will call as across the concentration gradient or along the concentration gradient. Fine. So that is passive transport. We will learn the types. Two main types are there: osmosis and diffusion. First of all, diffusion. You have already read in class 7 something related to diffusion. Now if I define that property, diffusion is when one kind of substance is mixing up with another kind of substance which is moving from their higher concentration region to lower concentration region. It can happen in solid, liquid, gases, but more visible in gases and liquids. Why? Again, the reasoning from class 7. You remember the intermolecular space. The particles in gases are free to move, whereas in liquids to a certain extent they are moving, and in solids they are like tightly packed. So diffusion you will find is easiest in gases, followed by liquid and then solids. And osmosis? Osmosis is a type of diffusion where we talk about three things: solvent, solute and solution. Again in class 7th you have read. Suppose if I want to prepare a solution, I'll require, let us say I am preparing lemon juice. I will require a large quantity of water. Water will be like solvent. Solvent means such a substance which allows other things to solubilized in it, other things to diffuse in it. So water, you have read, water is a universal solvent, they say. Most of the substance get solubilized in water, get diffused in water, get mixed up in water. So that is solvent. Solute are the materials which get soluble, which easily mix up. So salt we can say can easily get mixed up with water. Sugar we can say, milk we can say. So those are solutes. These two, solvent plus solute. Like I was preparing lemon juice. I got water, solvent. I got a pinch of salt, maybe 1 tablespoon of sugar, lime juice. These all are solutes because this will be dissolved in water. And ultimately what is the result? I am getting a solution. So these three things should be clear in your mind. Solvent is in which the things dissolve. Solute is the things which are getting dissolved. And solution is the result of when these two will be mixed up. Fine. So we will be speaking in this language henceforth. Coming back once again to diffusion, definition of diffusion. So it is diffusion and osmosis. Passive transport, the two types of passive transport is diffusion and osmosis. If you see the definition, Substance uniformly spreads into another substance by a random movement of particles from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration due to their kinetic energy. Now, this diffusion plays a major role in living organisms. What are the roles? Function or its significance. Distribution of various substances through the cytoplasm of the cell. Exchange of respiratory gases. Loss of water in vapor form, that is transpiration through the stomata. An aroma of flower also get diffused in the air, which like attracts the pollinating agent. Once again, let me explain these points. So diffusion is one substance is getting mixed up with another substance, and the substance is moving from their higher concentration region to lower concentration region. This can happen with the molecules of gases, liquids and gases, liquids and solids. It's more visible in gases because the molecules are free to move here and there in gases, then liquid and then ultimately solids. Because in solids the molecules are tightly packed. Now see, in our case, let me take our case, human beings. We are inhaling oxygen. Why? Oxygen in the atmosphere is coming just after nitrogen, that is 21 to 23%. That is abundant in the atmosphere or the environment, whereas in our body we do not have a lot of oxygen. So our body is like low concentration region and outside environment is like high concentration region. So the inhalation of oxygen in your body is happening because of diffusion from higher concentration region, that is environment, to your body, that is a lower concentration region. In the same manner, we exhale carbon dioxide. Again, why? Your body in each and every cell is producing carbon dioxide. So you are like high concentration region for carbon dioxide, whereas in the environment it is 0.003%, not even 1%. So outer environment becomes a less concentration region and your body becomes a high concentration region. That is when we say exchange of respiratory gases. So all living organisms exchange the gases because of diffusion. Now that aroma of flower diffuses through the air into the surrounding, which like attracts the pollinating agent for pollination, and then ultimately fertilization and seed formation takes place. So diffusion has a major role to play for living organisms. Now moving on to osmosis. What I told you, osmosis is a type of diffusion where we are talking about movement of water, especially water, that is solvent, from their higher concentration region to lower concentration region through a semi-permeable membrane. Please remember, when you define osmosis, this through a semi-permeable membrane has to be written, otherwise your definition will be incomplete. Now coming to the definition. Osmosis. It's a type of diffusion. It is movement of solvent from the region of its higher concentration to the region of its lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Once again, I am reminding you, through a semi-permeable membrane, you have to mention the two kinds can be there on the basis of whether the water is moving inside a cell or water is leaving the cell. Endoosmosis and exoosmosis. Let me clarify. Endo means something is coming inside. Exo means something is moving out. So endoosmosis. You must have seen your mother soaking grams maybe overnight, or even moong dal or some kind of pulses in water, and overnight she keeps it. When in the morning you see the grams or even you see the moong dal, you will find they all have become sprouts, they have swollen up. How they have swollen up? What has entered inside? Water. Why? She has soaked them in water. That means the solution in which she has kept this thing is a higher concentration region of water. From the higher concentration region, the solvent, the water has moved inside the grams. The grams are all swollen up. Same with the case of moong dal. So endoosmosis, you find the example in your mother's kitchen. Likewise exoosmosis. Let us say your mother is preparing pickle she has cut lot of slices of mango and she has kept it outside under the sun. What will happen after few days? After few days you will find they all have got dehydrated. The water has moved out. Why? Due to the sun's heat. The water which was there inside has moved out. Exoosmosis has happened. In the same manner, from the grapes, they prepare the kishmish or raisins. It's basically dried up. The water content has been moved out. The water content has moved out. So two types of osmosis. Endoosmosis, when the water is moving in, like in case of soaked grams, and exoosmosis, where the water is moving out, like in case of raisins from grapes, or maybe even in case of amchur, or even the mango slices which is allowed to be made into pickles. Exoosmosis happens. Now further moving into one experiment. So I've already given you the concept of solvent, solute and solution. Please remember, water is a universal solvent. Why? Because in water most of the things on this earth is dissolved. Solute are the materials which get dissolved in water, and solution is the result which we get. Suppose we are doing an experiment with animal cells and we have got three kinds of solution. Now let me clarify first solution, isotonic. Isotonic solution is such a solution where the amount of water and the solute is same inside the cell and in the solution. That means we can say it has got same concentration of water and solutes inside the cell also and in the solution also. Suppose if you drop your RBC in such a solution, isotonic, nothing will happen. It will remain same. Why? Whatever amount of water will move out, same amount of water will move inside, because both the area concentration is same. So such a solution where the concentration of water and solute, that means solvent and solute, is same inside the cell and outside the cell, that means the solution. This is a beaker. So in such a solution, if we put the RBC, the shape of RBC remains the same. Such a solution we are calling as isotonic. Coming to the next solution, hypotonic. See there they use a word in chemistry, dilute. Dilute is what? When the solution surrounding the cell is having more water. That means higher concentration of water in the solution and lower concentration of water inside the cell. So what will happen? The cell will take in water, will allow endoosmosis. Slowly the cell will swell up. The normal RBC was looking like this. Now it has got swollen up. So what has happened to the cell now? Swollen up. Why? We are putting in a solution which is hypotonic. Hypotonic means water concentration is more in the solution than inside the cell. So the cell will allow the movement of water from the solution inside. What will happen after some time? The cell will swell up. So the RBC has swollen. In the third solution, hypertonic solution. Here the water concentration in the solution is less. That means inside the cell the water concentration is higher. Again, water or solvent will move from their higher concentration region to lower. That means from the cell the water will move out in the solution. So what will happen to the cell then? The cell will now shrink or it will shrivel. So RBC has become shrunken here. Fine. So three types of solution. Once again, let me recollect and tell you. Isotonic solution is such a solution in which the concentration of solvent and solute is same, is at equilibrium between what and what? Between the cell and the solution in which you have dropped the cell. So nothing much will happen. Whatever amount of water is entering inside will move out also, and the shape of the cell will remain the same. Hypotonic solution. Such a solution is also called dilute solution. The solution in which the water concentration is higher, the solvent concentration is higher than inside the cell. So what will happen? In a hypotonic solution, if you have put the RBC, water will move inside, endoosmosis will happen and the RBC will swell up. The cells will be swollen. Third solution is hypertonic solution. It's such a solution in which the water concentration is lower than inside the cell. That means the cell has got higher concentration region of solvent. So the cell will lose water. When it will lose water, the water will move out. The cell naturally will shrink. Fine. So we have completed 3 types of solution, and we have completed diffusion and osmosis with that passive transport. In the next class, we'll go further. Thank you.